Getting a second passport can greatly expand your opportunities. More than just doubling the number of passports you have, it could actually increase your options by hundreds or even thousands of percent of where you can live, work, study, invest, or go when things get tough. Today, I'm going to tell you how you can get so-called bonus privileges through your second passport that's like having more than one citizenship for the price of one. Now, the first way you can get an actual second citizenship for not much more than the price of one is an option that many people wouldn't want. But if you are a citizen of a Commonwealth country, which includes Caribbean citizenship by investment countries, they now want a $200,000 plus donation. You get citizenship in less than a year. You're a citizen of the Commonwealth. You can then go to Pakistan, and for 5 million Pakistan rupees, that's about $18,000, they will grant citizenship to Commonwealth citizens pretty quickly. Now, you might say, why do I want to be a Pakistani citizen? Well, that's just the first of numerous examples I'm going to give you in this video for how to basically double up on the passports that you already have. And while that's an example of actually getting a third passport, where the Caribbean one, for example, would be your second passport and Pakistan would be your third passport, there are actually ways you can have the benefits of having multiple citizenships with only getting one additional passport. And so let's go through those. One thing about those Caribbean countries that offer citizenship for less than a year in exchange for a donation is that they are a member of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, all 5 of them, plus St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And so if you have one of those passports, you have essentially free movement around that region. There's a few things that you need to keep in mind, but you can basically say, I'm a citizen of St. Lucia, as I am. I can go and live in tax-free St. Kitts and Nevis. And people think, if I want to live in St. Kitts and Nevis, I have to be a Kittian citizen. But a St. Lucian citizen has basically those same privileges. And so, for example, the St. Lucian passport is more affordable. You can still leverage some of the tax friendliness of St. Kitts or of Antigua and Barbuda without having to get their passport if it's not as good of a deal or you don't like the other terms and conditions. So you've got those 6 countries to move through. So you're not an actual citizen of the other countries. There's a lot of slimy salesmen out there. Oh, you're getting 5 passports for the price of one. No, you're getting one passport that's part of a union that gives you extra privileges. So if you're an American, you can't really go and live in other countries. If you're Australian, you can live in New Zealand or vice versa. If you're British, you can live in Ireland or vice versa. But that's not really a lot of privileges. If you're a Caribbean citizen, you're basically 6xing your mobility. And now that those countries are also part of the Caribbean community, CARICOM, they have opened up the privileges for you to move to additional countries, well over a dozen countries around the region with a few more boxes to tick. You now can say, I'm going to get one passport, and whenever I want to move, if I ever want to move, whether it's tax friendliness or I want to be more personally free or left alone, I've got not one extra country, but I've got a lot more extra countries. I'm basically 12 to 15xing my power of options that I have. Now, we mentioned in Europe, the United Kingdom and Ireland, in an agreement that predated the European Union, they have the opportunity to move between each other. Now, the UK is rather stingy with citizenship by descent. That's where you go through your family tree and claim ancestry. Ireland is a bit more flexible. If you have ancestors from those countries, more recent ancestors, you can claim citizenship that way. You could also move to Ireland. They have a special tax-friendly program for folks who want to live there coming from overseas. After 5 years, you already speak English, you can get citizenship there. And now you have the ability to live in those 2 countries. If you're Irish, of course, you also have membership in the European Union. So you can move to any of the European Union or EEA countries. So if you're an American and you get an Irish passport, let's say through your grandmother, or you choose to move there for a number of years, now you've basically 30x'd the number of places that you can go. And that's true of any country in the European Union, where people will often say, well, yes, my great-grandfather was Slovak, but I don't want to live in Slovakia. But if you become Slovak, now you can go and live in any of the other European countries. And so we've seen this, for example, during the pandemic. One country treated people well, one country didn't treat people well, and you had the ability to choose where you wanted to go. Same with tax policies. One country ratchets up taxes, you can move to other countries. And because you're not an actual citizen of that country you're moving to, so let's say Switzerland, if you're European, you get a better deal on their lump sum tax program than a non-European because you have the right to move to Switzerland. And so you could save hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars, euros, or francs a year by moving to Switzerland because you're not a Swiss citizen, but you have the right to move there by having another European passport. So you can get that by going through Malta's program. If you have no family tree, it costs about $1 million. We've helped a lot of our clients do that, where you're going to go through background checks and you're going to make a donation. And once you're Maltese, you may choose to live in Malta, but you may choose to live anywhere else in Europe, or you may just keep that in your back pocket for your entire family, that whenever you need it, you've just 30x'd your mobility. The other way to do that more affordably is if you have someone from the family tree. It could go back even 3 or 4 generations in some European countries. We do that for folks. Nomad Capitalist Citizenship by Descent service, where you're going to pay a heck of a lot less than $1 million, a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction, and you're going to reconnect with your ancestry, which is kind of fun on an emotional level. But now you have that ability. If you're coming from the US or Canada, you're going to 30x your mobility because you have the choice to go wherever you want within that block. Outside of the European Union, in Southeastern Europe, Open Balkan is a new program that is bringing together that region. And so if you're a citizen of Serbia or North Macedonia or Albania, you have certain privileges to move between those countries. They're talking about bringing in Bosnia and Montenegro and Kosovo. Kosovo, I think, has said, yeah, we don't want any part of this. Montenegro, I think, has been more open to that. There's an ability to move between countries. And so could you be Serbian and live in Montenegro? No, it's not that hard to get a residence permit in Montenegro. You open a company, you pay a little bit of tax every month, or you can buy a real estate and then you can go and live there. But this is an opportunity for people who are citizens of those countries to move between each other. Same with Turkey. Turkey has a citizenship by investment program. You buy real estate. Now you can live in Turkey. Now with citizenship by investment, you don't have to live there. People often get that confused. I don't want to live in Antigua and Barbuda. What do I do this? You're getting it for the ability to have options. Not to live there, although, hey, if you could live there because something terrible happens or the taxes are going through the roof, like, it's nice to have a place to go. But people often get citizenship by investment for the mobility. They want to have a passport that doesn't have the stigma of the one they have. Or they're an American who's afraid, they have to pay tax no matter where they live. Yes, you can dramatically reduce that. We help our clients legally dramatically reduce their taxes as Americans by living overseas. But, maybe you want that second passport to no longer be American. Or now politicians in France are doing what I've always said that they would. There's one politician, let's tax French people no matter where they live. Canadian politicians have said that. Not in the center, perhaps, but over time, more countries could tax you no matter where you live. You want to have that second passport. So you don't have to live in Turkey to get Turkish citizenship. But if you get that citizenship, then you also have the ability to live in what they call the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, the northern half of Cyprus in the Mediterranean. And so that's a small benefit. Same with, Russia has become a pretty toxic passport these days. So you have the opportunity to live in Belarus or vice versa. And so, Australia, New Zealand. And so you want to have as many options as possible. What can you do? Move to a different country to lower your taxes. In the Balkans, for example, relatively tax-friendly, but one might have lower taxes than the other. Or within Europe, you might be living in a country that has taxes through the roof, or your passport might have taxes through the roof. But if you go and live somewhere else more tax-friendly, you have the ability to do that. The reason you want to have second citizenships, and within those second citizenships, additional rights to live in other countries, is you have the right to live there. And so they have to let you into the country. You have the ability to move there. You don't need to go and deal with residence permits, because what do we see? The price of residence permits goes up over time. In Asia, Hong Kong just brought back their residence permit after close to a decade. The price went up 4-fold. Malaysia's MM2H, more expensive. Other countries have raised the price. Many countries cancel their residence permits. You want to get the residence permits that you want for countries you might want to live in, but don't necessarily want to live in now. You want to get those before the price goes up. But citizenship is even more permanent than a residence permit. And so if you have citizenship, again, in the Caribbean, you have that right to move between those countries. You don't have to worry about what are the conditions when you actually might want to go there. And so, again, you'll decide why you want to go somewhere else. We talk about finance, freedom, and lifestyle. Can you lower your taxes? Are your assets more secure? Do you feel more personally free? Are there opportunities for your children? Is it better weather, better quality of life, more in line with your values? A lot of people in the West don't believe the countries are in line with their values. So if you look at holding these passports, you're going to have more privileges. What if you could 10x everything you're doing? We help our clients do that. Go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply. What I can tell you is we're not going to do this thing where, oh yeah, you're going to be a citizen of 5 countries. We don't push product here. You are the client. We represent you. And so we're going to offer you all the options. There's dozens of them. We have an R&D team multiple people. All we do is find new information about programs, find things in the tax law, find potential concerns, flag more things, find more opportunities than I think any other firm out there. Full-time people, all they're doing is researching the machinations of these different programs. So go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply. And if not, you can always join us at Nomad Capitalist Live. It's our annual live event where we dive into a lot of this stuff as well. And you get to hang out with people who are talking about this stuff. But this is what we do, giving people more options. And sometimes it's not a matter of one extra passport, one extra option. The great game is one extra passport and monumentally more options.